Okay, so interestingly enough, my son is 15 and my daughter is 17. And last year I saw them starting to watch my videos and they hear me talk on the phone and this. And they said, okay, so we want to learn this. We're ready. So I had them attend the joint venture training. It's a 1-day intensive training. When I say intensive, it's like we start 8 a.m., we finish 4, 5 p.m. Usually I have people fly to Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, meet me in my office there because we can walk right down the street and they can see $100 million portfolio. I have practiced what I said. I said, look, this street, I own the street. This other one right here, where the cruise ships arrive in Puerto Rico, US territory, where they walk, the traffic, credit card in hand, where they shop, is all my buildings and my tenants and the national tenants. And I show them how I brought these tenants in. So I tell them the theory, I show them the application of it, and I explain to them, you can network with me because now when you put the deals under contract, you can assign them to me. Second deal you can do on your own because you made money assigning the first deal. And my kids sat there, and believe it or not, I start with word definition. What is escrow? What is a single tenant building? What is going dark? What is a lease with an option to buy? What is a lease and sublease? So I spend an hour and a half defining the words. And when you understand how education works, the reason some people blow off and say, I don't want to read this. I just read the whole thing. I don't understand the thing. Look, I'm at the end of the page. I don't understand. It's because there are some words you misunderstood. So the fast way to learn is the slow way. And nobody has figured out the basics. I said, just let's define this word. Let's define this word. Let's see in context what it means. So I follow a formula called DCBA. Definition, the concept. Why are we using this? Why are we doing a lease sublease? Why are we doing an option to buy? Why are we actually, what's the difference between a lease and a rent? What's the difference between somebody who's gone dark, somebody who, and all these definitions, people get lost with it. Your brain stops. Like, what is he talking about? I define the words, I explain the context, and I explain the business model. One, it's like cooking. What you do first, what you do second, it's a business model. 3, 4, all of a sudden you're cooking, I give you the business model. You get the flour, you get the eggs, you mix it like this, you bring the hot chocolate, you bring the cocoa, you bring the butter, you mix it, put it, next thing you know, you're like the chef. You just understood what the ingredients are, all the definition, what the concept is all about, what you're trying to achieve with that cake, and the business model, the steps, and the application for success. What action do I need to get to put forward to be able to achieve this? And once you do it once, and you put it again, you start becoming creative with it. You go from the physical universe of time, space, energy, and all this effort into the spiritual world where you create. You come up with ideas like, oh, let me ask this seller if he wants to do it that way. Let me ask this broker if he would consider this, and let's meet with him or her to talk about that. Your creativity goes to another level, and you're only limited by your training, because it gives you the possibilities, your creativity, which is what you bring from your own character and experience, and your ability to communicate. Because communication is the universal solvent. And you get people telling you, well, I don't want to talk to this guy. I don't want to say this. I don't know if I should ask him. Maybe they will say no. So I teach people between the knowledge and the action, courage takes place. And that courage is very important. The only way to have courage is to have the actual knowledge that when you take action, it starts producing results. All of a sudden your confidence goes up. You're like, yeah, I can do this. Do small, think big, but start small. Don't go risk it all. And then you build on it. And then one day you it's a tipping point. And you know, the idea at the end of the day is that you own productive assets. You own buildings that produce income forever after. You get that church chicken in the building. We're waiting to see in a couple of days, we're gonna know if they're gonna sign for 15 years. That means I do the work once, I'm gonna give them 100K for tenant improvement. They're gonna do the improvement, they're gonna start paying for 15 years. They're gonna pay me the rent, plus increases 3% per year, plus the loan is gonna get paid down by them. So I get the loan, I get the building that increased in value, and the building will increase when the debt decreases. I can become wealthy, wealthier, wealthiest. How many deals do you wanna make? You make as many as you can because you got it under contract at 800, but when the tenant signed, it's worth $1.7 million. So the bank is willing to give you the 800. If the bank is not willing, they'll give you 600. Guess what? Many people will upfront the 200 and partner with you. You see, you can even get hard money loans on this until you get the tenant, then refinance cash. I mean, you're only limited by your creativity, and you can take a good deal to a better deal to a best deal and then repeat. One deal can change your life. And if you have that income that pays your basic expenses, it becomes a game.
That's and I hope y'all were listening, right? Like if you're listening to this as a recording, go back and re-listen to those last 5 minutes over and over, because that's incredible advice where you're telling them essentially what I heard. And you tell me if I'm wrong. They've got to sit down and educate themselves. First, go and get education from a credible individual like yourself, which I love, by the way. I got to say this, when people introduce their family into their business, in my opinion, it speaks loudly about what they believe about their business. When you separate your family from your business, it means maybe you think there's something wrong. I love that you're inviting your children into the business and you're inviting them into the education and you're showing them. That speaks volumes about what you do. And so to get educated by a qualified mentor and then taking the action. I love what you said, like break it down to the simple definitions and then act on it until that repetition of action kicks in, until we have a little bit of habit there. It's going to be really hard to think creatively. But when it starts to become a little bit more habitual, when it gets a little bit easier, then creativity can start to kick on and kick in.
Exactly. Like I got to tell you, like at one point, I mean, my sister is a doctor, my brother-in-law is a doctor. At one point, I got scared if my kids want to become doctors or architects or engineers or attorneys. I said, oh my God, you know, that's going to be like, it's difficult. But all I can do is enhance whatever they want to do. They want to become singers, they want to become whatever. But thank God they had the presence of mind through observation and the good and the bad of what I have to deal with in real estate to say, you know what? We want to do what you do. We like that. We like to walk around and see the buildings. We like to see that even when it's stressful, you're playing the game. And if you approach winning and losing with the same level of enthusiasm, you will win, because nothing will get to you. And you will not play inside the problems. You will be looking outside and you will advise yourself as if you're advising your best friend. You become your own best advisor because it's a game. Good or bad, it's a game. It's like I'm playing volleyball and I twist my finger and the guy stepped on my foot and it's like, it's okay, let's go. Oh, we lost, that's okay. Let's play the next game. Let's change course here and now. And you get excited about it, the process and the proceeds.